Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Um, do we have any audio? I take it we do, Anthony. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks. Um, Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is the 20th of May, and it is a Friday. And today, I will remind you, is options expiration day. And so this afternoon, going into the close might get a little volatile um, with some of these traders making last minute adjustments, either rolling or closing out their options positions at the last minute. But it does happen, and those are sometimes the bigger players. So anyway, third Friday afternoon is a time to either stay the heck out of the market or be, if you are trading, be very aware. The unexpected can hit you going into that close really fast. So today, my goodness, we've certainly had nice trends this morning in the indices. They all kind of roared to life all of a sudden. Sometimes that happens after a down day. It'll be followed by the opposite. The telltale on that is usually that VIX. If the VIX had continued to go on up today, this morning, then you could expect these indices to continue selling off like they did yesterday. However, we've got the VIX right now trading about 15.5. And this morning, the NQ looks to me like it was quite a bit stronger than the others. YM was kind of the weakling of that bunch, and TF was pretty strong too. I don't know if any people in here trade the ES futures, but that's highly tradable and very, very high volume. But I'm not sure. That is a market that the people who trade that US 500 off of Nadex, that's what they're using for the underlying on that. There was a whole lot of news about crude oil, and would it be possible for these wildfires to actually create some kind of a fire in Alberta that would burn off some of that shale. And of course, it's like, is it possible that aliens from outer space can arrive tomorrow? I'm sure that is possible. The probability of that happening, I'm not going to hang my hat on that. But it is something I've kind of been watching. Some of these pundits are talking about all of a sudden, my goodness, boy, they're really smart. They're not quite as bearish on crude oil as they were. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. But I'm looking for this. I think the bottom down there at 26 was probably put in for quite some time. Well, you never know until it's over, but I don't notice, we've had some really nice moves on bonds for the last week or so. And today it finally it did, but it was sure choppy. It wasn't as good as it has been. The indices and crude oil have definitely been the places to be. If you can see my crude oil chart, the one I like the best, my 12 tick, this is Apex at its classic finest. I love this thing because it went up here, and right here, this is about 9:45. it put in this P with a red E, and you had plenty of time to take this right up here. The 6 tick would confirm it, and so did the alchemy. And before we had all this wonderful stuff, I would typically wait until this had cleared settlement by 2 or 3 ticks, and then take it down to the green ice or the low of the day. When you have a run like this, and it hit this green ice, and that's where it put in the low for today. When you have that and it goes down there and clears that, you can expect that thing to bounce around on that line. So there's nothing whatsoever wrong with taking this up here somewhere and then putting your take profit right at this low of the day or green ice right here, and let it bounce around, and then wait until this this bar has formed. And if you go back on your alchemy, let's see, this is 10. What is that? 1023, I think. This is where it put in another E on. This is a 10 tick versus a 12 tick. But it put in another E. In other words, it told you to get back in. I guess that's my point. And where would you expect the bus driver to go? The next stop is going to be the deviation level. That's the next likely place. If it clears that and keeps going, then the next stop would be the bottom of the range channel and then to the blue midsection on the ice. But this is, given the fact that this run started up here above settlement, I would be inclined to really, really, really just be out at this deviation and be happy and thank you very much, and that's enough. So this was very easy to see, and then this clearly was a reversal right here at this A. I love these things. See, this is what I call the mountain, this deviation indicator that's on down here. There's a couple. I don't like the all the red and green on the other thing. I like this mountain dealy, because when it clears this, what is that? That's the 0.7 or whatever that thing is right there. But when this mountain, I call that the cloud line, when this mountain keeps on going and keeps on going, and you are at the deviation, and then the low is right there, as soon as you see this start to drop off, I like to take these right here at the top of this A, and you can go over here and find, I think this is where the alchemy will confirm right in here, just about the same thing, give or take 5 ticks or so. But as long as this mountain keeps on going down, 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 this will keep going up and up and up. And where does Daryl keep saying over and over and over again that markets like to go back to? Settlement. It's very frequent they will go back to settlement. If you go back for the last 3 or 4 days on crude oil, you will notice that this bus driver we've had this week is in love with settlement. I don't know. He's got something going on there, but he goes to settlement. And then, unfortunately, there were a couple days he just drove back and forth across it. But anyway, this is my favorite chart, and that's my favorite kind of trades on crude oil, and that's how I use that thing. But that is just so cool. I love that thing. For me, it's real easy to see because once upon a time, we didn't have all this really cool stuff we have now. And so I just kind of watched that enough till I started to It started to make sense to me anyway. So next week we're going to have not a heck of a lot. There's not a lot of economic numbers for the U.S. markets coming out next week. Even on Friday, there's not, like it's normal. That's heading into the holiday weekend. There are a lot of professional traders that will either take most of this week and part of next week, or certainly up to next Wednesday, will take that off. So you're going to likely see volume dissipate a little bit. And by the time we get to Friday of next week, I'd be real careful about trying to trade next Friday, because we're likely to just flat out not have the volume that makes it a little easier for all of us. So there's one other thing I wanted to let you know that I ran across. We've got people who trade the Forex pairs, and some of them are trading the spot Forex. And I think I've mentioned this before. I don't like that because there's not a heck of a lot of regulation, and the FX pairs are traded in all kinds of brokerages all over the world, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of they call it slippage, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, right, but there's no real international regulation of those things. Like when you're trading off of these U.S. exchanges, they are highly regulated. It doesn't mean things don't happen, but at least they've got some switches set on those, so it doesn't just all blow up all of a sudden one day. But there is a website called Bank for International Settlements, and if you look on that website, they've got committees and associations. There's a markets committee, and they have a foreign exchange working group. They are about to issue an international code that they want everybody to adhere to. I have no idea if there's going to be any teeth in that, where these brokerages who do not adhere to it will, they'll come after them. But at least if you have an interest in trading that, and the major banks all over the world are participating in that committee. But that would be something to keep your eye on. And then next month, we want to be aware of what the Brits are likely to do with this referendum, because that's going to affect the euro, which will affect the dollar. There'll be a lot of things. The commodities will be affected. So when that referendum comes, it's mid-June. I've forgotten the exact date, but we want to pay attention to what the results of that referendum are. So anyway, I think that's about my view for today. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and stay safe, so we can all be back here on Monday to see what's going on. So this has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you on Monday. Thanks.